Hi, everybody. My clock just turned 11 o'clock, so I was ready to sign on and spend the next hour with you guys. Happy Saturday. We've got 9 people in the room today. And in the next 5 minutes, I'm sure we'll get some people signing on. So, for the first 5 minutes of all of my workshops, I love to just get to know who's in the room and kind of explain the whole layout here. If it's your first time, welcome. There is a raise hand feature. So, if it is your first time spending an hour on one of my workshops with me, I'd love if you would find that raise hand and let me know so I could say hello. Hello, everybody. My name is Alicia. I've been teaching these workshops since 2020 with 99. My modeling journey began back in 2016. So I have about 8 different workshops that I teach for beginners looking to break into the industry and just need a guiding hand, a guiding word of advice, a pep talk, some motivation, some industry knowledge. So I hope that I can catch you guys on some of my other workshops. I'm here about 4 times a month. And right now I'm tuning in from Austin, Texas. Figured I'd wear my hat with for you guys. If you guys weren't here on Friday, I told everybody on Friday night to come join me on Saturday morning because I'm here on a job and I'm really excited. And I shoot tomorrow. I've had a couple down days, but yeah, in the Q&A section also is where we're going to communicate and where you can provide feedback. The whole format of this Zoom is that your cameras are turned off, mine are turned on. So in a perfect world, I'd be able to look at you and see your beautiful faces, but it's kind of nice to be off the hook for you guys. So take notes if you wish. This is going to be a powerful incoming of tons of mindset shifts for you guys. So yeah, that Q&A will be where you'll send some feedback in. And for right now, while we wait a couple more minutes, I'd love to hear where you're tuning in from, whether you are into acting, whether you are into modeling, maybe how long you've been with 99. And what are your goals? What are your goals? So this workshop particularly is one of the newest ones that I've just rolled out because about, I would say, 2 years into the beginning of my career, I realized that my mindset was going to sustain me and determine my success having some longevity in this industry more than any resume or connection or casting or audition or job or booking would. Because everything kind of starts with you and how you approach the industry. So, my goal is for everybody to develop these strong mindsets so that we can have a healthy relationship with this career. Because if you haven't learned already, this industry is up and down. It's always changing. We have to pivot a lot as models and actors, and success can be linear, not linear, up, down, up, down. So I've been in the game 10 years and I really attribute my success and my sustainability in this industry. The ability to give myself the motivation to keep chipping away at it, to keep showing up, was all starting right here. So that's my goal for you guys at the end of this workshop to have some tools and have some new mindset shifts that you can shift into. And the first half of the workshop, we're going to be looking at people who have made successful careers and what we can learn from them. And then the second half is going to be the powerful incoming of all of the mindset shifts that I wish for you guys. So, we've got Erin tuning in from Michigan, modeling and acting. I've been with 99 for less than a month. Oh, you got your first acting job. Congratulations. That is really amazing. And I know that from my perspective, for my actors in here, you might be saying, well, why am I in a workshop with a model? If you haven't realized, by now. Modeling and acting are very closely intertwined. In fact, when I first got started in this industry, my agency recommended that I take acting classes because it was going to help me find my voice, find my presence, my camera presence, and be more confident on screen. So they do go hand in hand. We've got Ashley returning. Hey girl, what's up? We've got Gregory. Oh, you got the remote clicker. I know. I know. It's a game changer. I've been filming a lot of content for my social media in the hotel, and I'm like, darn it, I should have brought that little clicker. And yes, double, triple whammy. We've got 9 for 2 years. Amazing. Hi, Kai. Welcome in. Happy Saturday. Shall we get started? Grab something to drink, grab notes, whatever you want to do. But also, just to let you guys know, my workshops are offered on a rolling, repeated basis. So if you ever see this offered again and you think, oh, well, I already attended that one, feel free to come back. I mean, the amount of time that you invest in yourself um, is good for you guys. I've never had this resource when I was first starting out to be able to hop on a Zoom call and connect with people in the industry who had something to teach me, something to tell me. And as I continue to grow in my modeling career, I've had 10 years in, I'm hoping for another 10 years. I'm learning, constantly learning. So I try to take stock of the lessons that I've learned and put them back into the workshop so that it's current and relevant information. So always feel free to come back for a refresher. So, your career starts with your beliefs. It doesn't start with your contract, your agency, your measurements, your experience. It all starts up here. And why we need to have a strong mental framework up here is because this industry is going to bring us tons of challenges. Uh, Tons of challenges. You guys know the reputation of this industry is that it's tough and it's hard to break into, and we hear no more often than we hear yes, and we're just out here waiting for an opportunity. We're essentially going fishing, right? And so no one's going to hand us the fish. We have to keep at it and keep trying to keep our head in the game and believe that we're about to catch a really big fish. So the goal here is to build positive beliefs that are going to help you mitigate any challenge and navigate any negativity that you're feeling. And when we do this relentlessly, we have momentum, we have power, we have strength. And that is what draws in opportunities for us and makes us a stronger actor and a stronger model because we've done the work, we know who we are, and we are fighting for our place in this industry and making sure that we have a healthy relationship and a healthy perspective on what it is that we're going after. Have you guys ever heard of the term limiting belief by a show of hands? Let me know if you've heard this verbiage before, because I do feel like in the past, like 5, 6 years, there's been a strong emphasis on our psyche. And maybe it's just for me and what I've been through, but I've been doing a lot of work on my mental since 2020 was really kind of the breaking point for a lot of people, I'm sure. But this term called limiting beliefs, where it's a belief in your mind that is run on autopilot by your subconscious, by your upbringing, experiences you've had, and stories that basically you tell yourself. So these beliefs can stop you right in your tracks from even trying, from growing, or from changing. So think about how many people there are out there who want to model, who want to act, but they never actually take the leap because they have doubts in their mind that are full on running the show. And that is what we call a limiting belief. It's deeply ingrained. And sometimes, because we have so many thoughts running our head, running our mind throughout the day, we're not even aware of them. We're just kind of like taking it as the status quo. Maybe that's kind of how we always thought. And so it feels comfortable because that's just our mindset. But when you start to pay attention to those limiting beliefs that are talking to you, that are holding you back, you can then challenge them and adopt a healthier mindset. And this is what we call an empowering belief. This is going to be your propeller that's going to get you further past the leap of not wanting to show up to fearlessly showing up and continuing to show up relentlessly. So, an empowering belief is one that's focused on encouraging yourself and adopting positive mental convictions. One thing that we need to know, and this is kind of the starting point in getting rid of those limiting beliefs that maybe we've been thinking for years about ourselves. They're not facts. They're not facts. They're just feelings. So, these thoughts may always live in the back of your mind somewhere. You might not be able to completely get rid of them because we all have unique experiences from our upbringing, from things that have happened to us. So they may always be there, but the goal is to recognize them, okay? Challenge them and choose new beliefs that will support your growth. So that is like the mental gymnastics that I feel like a lot of people don't really speak on about attributing that to their success. Some people would look at certain success stories and say, okay, well, they were in the right place at the right time. They're lucky. They put in the work. But really, while that is true, you have to do all of that. There is an aspect of it that starts all up here, that is up to you. No one else can deliver it except you. So, limiting beliefs are more common than we realize. I'm going to give you guys real life examples of powerful mindset shifts from some of the greats that are in our industry, that are trailblazers. And if you know these actors and actresses, it's really easy to just kind of do a little research on them. They give interviews, they have their social media platform where they talk about their story. And so, all of these things that I've learned about these actors was from kind of reading up on their story and seeing how what they have to say. So, Viola Davis, in the very beginning of her career, didn't think that she was beautiful enough to be a leading woman. And if you guys know her, you know that she's a complete powerhouse of an actress, and she starred in a lot of films as a leading woman, like a character that you don't forget. And so her mindset shift was I'm no longer apologizing for who I am. I own my story, and that's my power. So it seems like she kind of stopped focusing on her looks and more so started to become grounded in where she came from, who she is, and having that give her the power when she shows up to audition. That's something that you can't ignore. That's another thing is that when you show up to these auditions, and your mind is telling you, "Oh, I'm not beautiful enough to get this role." It might just turn out to be that way. But if you shift and you say, "I'm powerful and it doesn't matter what I look like, I'm going to book this," and you just never know how that can make tidal waves towards your success. Zac Efron. Anybody know Zac Efron? Oh, I used to watch him in High School Musical when he had his little bowl cut. He was so adorable, but he's gone on to star and make a great career for himself. And he opened up and said that he constantly felt like he had to be perfect for the world. So if you know Zac Efron, he was in Baywatch, I believe. A lot of roles where he had his shirt off. So I'm assuming he felt massive pressure to have this like ripped, shredded body. And if you're focusing too much on that, it's taking away from the beauty of who you are and what you bring and how well you can play the character if you're focusing just too much on that. So he shifted out of that and realized that perfection is not real. It's never going to be attained because it doesn't exist. And he thought that being grounded is better than being shredded. So you do see how they're shifting out of these limiting beliefs and adopting more empowering beliefs that propels them forward and makes them show up as a better actor, as a better candidate for the role. Emma Stone opened up about having super strong anxiety when she was auditioning, when she was on set, growing up. And so, feeling this call to be an actress, she always told herself that her anxiety was going to ruin her chances. And a lot of people feel this way, where they say, oh, well, I have stage fright, so it must mean that I'm just not meant for this life. But it's perfectly normal to have stage fright. And even big actors to this day have stage fright, but hers was turning into anxiety. And so it seems like she came to a place of acceptance where she said, my anxiety is not a problem. It's what sets me apart. Right? So she owned it. I'm just a person who runs a little bit anxious. I'm sure she did some exercises to shift out of her anxiety, but I can only imagine being an A-list celebrity, showing up to premieres, everyone's taking pictures of what you're wearing, they want interviews on the spot, and that can induce great anxiety. So instead of trying to fight it, she just accepted it and worked through it. And actually, this is the most powerful mindset shift because looking at it as something that makes you unique and not looking at it as something that makes you a burden. And it's something that makes her her. And so I've kind of accepted some personality traits for myself too. And so that is really, really empowering right then and there. Jennifer Lawrence, who knows this girl? Hunger Games, love her. I'm pretty sure all of these actors and actresses have won awards. But if you know her, it's to love her. She's really goofy. Every interview she does, she's always cracking jokes. Sometimes they're a little bit crass, sometimes a little bit bold. Some would call them inappropriate. And so, would you know that she used to think that that would take her out of the running to being like a nice, poised, well, soft-spoken actress is kind of what she thought that she should have been. And so she thought it was going to ruin her chances. But she shifted out of that and said, I have to show up like myself. I'm just going to be myself. I'm not going to care what polished version of me I think they want. I'm going to be myself. And we talk about this a lot in my workshops, especially on my social media workshop where this idea of authenticity is your best selling point. When people can feel that you are exactly who you say you are. And when you are authentic, there's no image to maintain. So you are just giving off this relaxed energy, and that's going to draw people in, and that's going to align you with the right roles and the right projects that are fit for you, not the polished version that you're trying to become. Winnie Harlow, does anybody know her? She is a fashion model and she has a skin condition. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but imagine being pulled towards modeling and thinking that that condition would forever keep you out of the race and why even bother trying? Because she thought maybe people wouldn't want her in their campaigns or want her selling their product, but she went for it anyway. And the mindset that she adopted was that she's not a model with vitiligo. She's just a model, period. So she stopped leading with that and just embraced exactly what she wanted to do and what she was doing. And she's had major, major, major success in this industry. Ashley Graham, I love her. She's wonderful. She pretty much kicked off the plus size body positivity revolution in the fashion industry, where it really opened doors for people of all shapes, all sizes. Because prior to her, there had only been one certain standard of beauty that could make it in the fashion industry. And so she paved the way. But being a plus size woman with bigger measurements than most of her peers, she thought that that was going to be a barrier to her being able to achieve her dreams, which was being in the fashion industry as a model. But her mindset shifted and she became absolutely unstoppable. I love that word because that's what I'm trying to kind of get at, where you build this momentum and you propel forward like a bow and arrow when you stop letting your limiting beliefs hold you back. So once she stopped trying to shrink herself and became comfortable taking up space in all that she was, she totally took off. She's written books. She's like a mogul now. If you guys don't know her, she is kind of what helped me kick off my modeling career. Devin Aoki is a actress turned model or model turned actress. I remember her from Fast and the Furious, but she's also worked in a ton of high fashion beauty campaigns. And she's like 5'2", I want to say. She's petite. And so kind of like on the opposite spectrum of Ashley Graham, where, sometimes we stop ourselves and we think, oh, we don't fit the standard. This role is looking for 5'8" and above, and I'm 5'2". I encourage you to still apply because you never know how many times the casting director will change what they're looking for because they found you and they decided to rewrite the whole thing. So, imagine if she believed from the very beginning, oh, well, I'm too short, I could never model. So she never went for it. But imagine if she shifted her mindset and her new mindset was that fashion changed for her. She didn't change for fashion. And so I remember that was explained to me very early on in my career when I had a casting for Skechers. And I have a size 12 foot as a woman, and Skechers only goes up to 10 or 11. So I remember telling my agent, hey, I'm not going to make this casting. This client doesn't make my size. And my agent was very disappointed in me. And he said, you have no idea how many brands change and build products to fit the model because they want you. So he said, in the event that you did book this, they would make a bigger shoe for you just to have you model in their brand. So that kind of blew my mind. And to this day, I've never tried to make excuses for why I shouldn't cast for something. Lupita Nyong'o, stunning, beautiful woman, glowing, radiant. Didn't believe she was beautiful. Just another case of low self-esteem or, insecurity. So sad. But again, this happens based on your lived-in experiences. And so it's really something that we have to not accept for the rest of our lives. At some point, we have to shift out of that. So her new adopted mindset was beauty is not a thing I acquired. It's something I just had to believe. So that is a true testament to the power of beauty starts within. And so if you walk into a room and you think, oh, I'm not handsome, I'm not pretty, that is kind of what other people might pick up from you. But if you believe it and you act like it, people can see it. And then the opportunities for you start coming in. So to wrap up, what are some lessons that we can learn from them? I'm interested to hear from you guys in the Q&A. I'll give you a few moments. What are the lessons that we can learn from all those stories that I shared? And this will be in the Q&A box. If you type it in the chat box, I might be able to look it up, but I get alerted from the Q&A box. Anybody? 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 Ashley, how you think and feel can evolve, especially by moving forward anyway. Bam, she put the spark emoji. We are our best friend and also our worst enemy. Yeah. And then I feel like you have to pick which one you want to be to yourself. You have to actively choose. I'd rather be my best friend. I'd rather live a life where I'm supportive of myself. That we have to shift from negative thinking to positive thinking. Embrace your natural self and be authentic. You have to believe in yourself and be motivated. There is not an age or location. Yes, thank you everybody for your feedback. To wrap it all up, since this workshop is based on getting you guys successful, successful people learn to separate external feedback from internal identity. And this is an industry where you will always be getting external feedback. It's an industry where they tell you what you're not instead of what you are. So you have to really know what you are and embrace that. And when people tell you what you're not, it doesn't make you less. It just means you're not the right fit for that specific role. And it has no implication on who you are and what you have to offer. When we shift our mind toward authenticity and acceptance, we have the tools for success, at least the tools that start up here, authenticity and acceptance. What we can gain in our career from acceptance and authenticity is knowing that acceptance creates longevity. Owning your true self sustains a career. Trends change. Who you are remains. So, trying to keep up with certain trends might shift you out of the belief, or might shift you out of acceptance, might shift you out of authenticity. We should always focus on who we are and have that be the constant, who we are, and try to create that longevity in our career, so that we can build a sustainable career. And again, like I mentioned in the beginning, have a healthy relationship with this career. When we know we can be exactly who we are and we can keep showing up and be patient for the results to arrive and not make anything external thing mean anything about ourselves, right? Now, when you think about pursuing modeling and acting, this is for you guys to reflect on. Feel free to share in the Q&A if you need to get it off your chest. But this is where it starts. This is the work that it takes. So, what thoughts are showing up? Are they facts or are they a fear? What's the story behind this belief? And how long ago was it that made you feel this belief? Is this belief helping you grow or keeping you safe? So, one thing that I didn't mention is that most of these beliefs in our subconscious psychologically come from the part of our psyche called the ego, where the ego's job is to try to keep you safe, right? So, it's like you'll be much safer if you stay at home and don't go into this casting call where they could potentially reject you, where you could potentially feel embarrassed, where you could potentially feel like you're not enough. So it tries to, that's its main job is to try to protect you. So that's the thing that starts spitting out these things. And so I think sometimes we just need to acknowledge that and say, hey, thanks, ego. I know you're trying to keep me safe, but these things that you're telling me are not true. And I have to show up because half the battle is won when I show up. But think about how much you learn, how much you grow. Every time you show up, you're investing in yourself. That is my best way that I tell people in my workshops to build confidence is to keep investing in yourself. When you invest in yourself, you do something scary, you come out on the other side. Think about how much more expansion you just made to fit some confidence in, right? Because you survived and you learned things and you met people and you got the experience. Whereas if you just stayed at home and deemed that would be the safer thing to do, then you're not growing. You're staying exactly in the same place. So, what are the thoughts that you would believe instead if you trusted yourself? And that's another main component of confidence is this ability that when we say we're going to do something, we do it. When we say we're going to show up, we show up. So think about like being in a relationship with somebody else. If they say, "Hey, I'm gonna wake up at 6 a.m. and we're gonna go for a run together," and they never call, they're a no call, no show, they never show up, you wouldn't trust that person. So think about the relationship with yourself. When you say you're gonna do something, you have to follow through and build that trust in yourself. And that is how confidence is shaped and formed. And that's what's going to carry you through into these big rooms with big opportunities. Every single experience that you have is a way to build confidence so that when you walk into a room, you say, I've done the work. I have very empowering beliefs in my head, and nothing's holding me back. And whatever happens in this room, whether I get it or not, whether I, flunk the audition, whether I get nervous or not, is all okay. So that was the first half of the workshop. Again, nice long pep talk for you guys. These workshops are all based upon the things that I wish that I knew when I first started. I didn't have this support. I didn't have this way of thinking. I walked into rooms feeling inferior. Um, Nervous, not talking nice to myself. And it's no wonder why the very first couple years of my career were very rocky for me. But I still showed up and I still got through it. And then I looked back and I said, okay, what are the lessons I learned? What's going to help me? What's not helping me? And then I got this opportunity to kind of teach all of that. And it's been my greatest honor. And it's such a good reminder for myself, too. And it helps keep me on the path and the trajectory that I'm trying to build. So now we've come to the mindset shift part. I'm going to give you 10 powerful mindset shifts to help you guys become more magnetic and successful in business. So raise your hand if you have felt this before when you audition for something. Oh, I hope they pick me. I really hope they pick me. Please, God, let them pick me. Would you know that that's a limiting belief? It's not helpful for you guys to think that way. And you might think, well, I have to be hopeful, right? But if you shift out of that pick me energy and that, I don't mean this insulting way, but out of that desperate energy to book a job, and shift into a more purpose-driven mindset of I'm here looking for aligned opportunities. So I actually hope they don't pick me if I'm not aligned with it, if I'm not the person that's meant for this job. It's a hard mindset shift for others to swallow, but you're not auditioning to please. So to have that people pleasing, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that so that they pick me and hope that they pick me, it's giving off that energy. So remind yourself when you walk into your next audition, it helps also take the pressure off to be the perfect fit for the role. You want to be you. Remember, we're going to take it back to authenticity. You want to be you. So you are auditioning as yourself to match the client's needs or the role. So you want it to kind of just be in alignment where they say, that's our girl, that's our guy. Number two, raise your hand if you've ever felt this before you go into a casting or an agency meeting. You're checking your reflection, maybe my makeup, my hair gel, my hands, my cuticles, my jeans, my shoes, and you're so worried about having everything look perfect. What I want you guys to shift into is the more important aspect when you show up is to be real and to be present. So you don't need to go out and buy a nice fresh pair of white sneakers. You can wear something that's been lived in a little bit. You can wear your favorite shirt. You don't need to buy anything brand new. Um, the most important aspect when people know if they want to work with you or not is that you are real, so authentic in who you are, and that you're present. So if you're focused on looking perfect, you're taking away your ability to be present. Casting directors are drawn to authenticity. They measured authenticity on a scale. I want to say the Richter scale, but I don't think that's it. I think that's for like weather. But you can measure frequencies, right? And so they measured it and they found that authenticity was the highest frequency that people can feel, even stronger than love and joy. It was authenticity. So that is exactly who you are. So your quirks. If you've got a little scuff on your white sneaker, it's okay. If your jeans are 10 years old, it's okay. You want your quirks, your soul, and your humanity to come through, right? That's going to help you be a better match for the opportunities that you're going for. I'm just a talent on a list of names. Again, raise your hand if you've ever thought this way, because I've checked into a lot of castings before and I've seen the list of names when I sign in above me, and I said, oh gosh, okay, well, 25 people went before me. Or back in the day when we used to audition in person, we would stand in line and we would size up our competition. And so, in the midst of me standing there, I'd say, gosh, this is a waste of time. I'm just here, I'm just one of many. But when you shift out of that, and you remind yourself you are a brand and you are a business, right? Essentially, you are a marketing business. You're here to market yourself. You're a brand, which means that no one else has what you have. It's your own unique brand. So when you walk in and you're going for these opportunities for your career to have momentum, walk in like you're the CEO, right? No one else has what you have. It's your own business built on your own values, your own experiences, your own uniqueness, your own authenticity. So at the end of the day, your talent, your looks, how you audition is not going to sustain you. It's all about how you position yourself. So knowing your brand is super important, and we talk about that in my social media workshop. So feel free to add that to your notes to look out for in the future. Raise your hand if you ever have been rejected from a role and thought, oh God, I failed. This is complete failure. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm never going to make it. You see how these thoughts easily just roll off the tongue when you have some external thing that happens to you. So the most strong models and actors that I know, they look at rejection as a redirection. So think about, you know, what comes to mind first is Pac-Man, when you just have to change course real quick. It's like, oh, I'm not going that way, I'm going down here. And that is what rejection provides you, where you go to knock on this door, they don't answer. Okay, I'm going to go try a different door. And eventually, you're going to get where you are supposed to end up, where feels professionally aligned for you. So, reminding yourself that every no is a step closer to the right yes. And if you just look at rejection as data and not a diagnosis that, you can't act, you can't model, you're not blank enough, you made this mistake, it's not a diagnosis. So I always like to look at, if it was something that I actually auditioned for, I learned the lines for, I auditioned for, and they said no, they're never going to give you a reason why. That's the thing about this industry. They're never going to tell you why. So just look at it and say, I wonder, if this wasn't what they were looking for, I wonder what they were, and just kind of assess. Maybe there's some things you could have improved with your timeliness, with the quality of your video. Sometimes it's not about your talent. Sometimes it's just one thing. Maybe sometimes, like if you're 5'6" and the hero of the shot that you're going to be in the commercial with is 6'4", it's not in alignment, right? So maybe they like you, but they're looking for a little bit taller model, so it's not such a stark difference. Though there's so many different things that it could have been. Number five, I need more experience before I show up. I need more experience. I'm going to say no to this opportunity because I'm just not ready yet. That is a limiting belief, because when you show up and do things, that's when you have the opportunity to learn. So I began modeling before I was ready. I began modeling when I had zero, zero, zero experience, very little confidence. And how chic of me to begin before I was ready, right? Because looking back now, every time I showed up when I didn't feel ready, I gained so much more than a booking. I gained perspective, I gained knowledge. I looked at myself like a sponge where I was absolutely absorbing everything there was to know about the industry, how a casting works, um, how to show up on time, how to dress, how to act, um, you know, being myself too. You don't need to be perfect to start. Just start. You don't need to, you need to start to become great. You don't need to become great to start. I hope I'm blank enough. I hope I'm tall enough. I hope I'm skinny enough. I hope I'm muscular enough. I hope I'm gray enough. I hope my skin is clear enough. You know, the list can go on and on and on. When we talk to ourselves like that, it's not helpful. Your job is not to be anything for everyone. It's to be fully yourself for the right people. Confidence is key. So, casting directors these day and ages are often booking based on your energy, not for your looks or your lines, how you connect with them, how you walk into a room, what kind of energy you're carrying with you. And they're not looking to see if you have blemishes on your face or tattoos on your arms or scars. You know, there's so many different things. So all of that can be looked beyond. And so the way that we carry ourselves really matters. So if you're walking in and you're thinking, oh, I hope I'm this enough, and it's taking away from your energy when you're trying to worry about something like that. I am unsure of myself when I'm on camera. Has anyone felt that feeling? That was like, majority of my career, and even sometimes still, like I'm here for a job where it's a commercial, so I'm gonna have to stretch myself a little bit because most of my experience is through modeling. I've done a lot of e-com, I've done a lot of lifestyle, so to have to put on an act, a character, my character is Pilates mom. I know that it's going to creep in a little bit, or I feel unsure of myself. Like, can I really do this? Am I good enough to do this? Right? So, this is going to be for me, this number seven mindset. And it's very powerful. I consistently shine everywhere. I am light in every room. And really, at the end of the day, that's what they hire models and actors for, is to shine, is to captivate, is to embody a feeling. So that's certainly going to help me. And always remember too that whether you're on camera or off camera, you're always auditioning, right? How you carry yourself matters just as much as your performance. So there's the model and the actor on set playing the character, and then as soon as they yell cut, that's when professionalism comes in. That's when your connection with the crew comes in. That's when your respect for their time comes in, respect for the craft. There's so many other aspects of being talent in this industry. So always remember, on and off camera, in and out of character, you are always, always auditioning. So the best thing you can do is be sure of yourself and remind yourself you're shining no matter what. Number eight, I'm in competition. They always like to tell us and remind us how competitive this industry is. And it truly is, because if I weren't to get this job, they probably could have found another 5'11 brunette in her mid 30s model who wanted the role, who auditioned for the role. So if you go into things thinking, oh, the competition is stiff, um, it can hold you back from even trying. So, what I've adopted is that, again, that idea of being in alignment. So, me, I'm in alignment with this job. It worked out perfectly for me, but maybe for somebody else, it wasn't the right fit. Maybe they had everything externally that I had and they could have been a good fit for the role, but it just wasn't in alignment. So, if you stop looking at it as people being your competition and remind yourself there's room for us all to win when it's our time. And it just happened to be my time. And I'm so very, very, very grateful. What you can do too is support others in your industry. So I used to, in the beginning of my career, see all of these models that I was meeting in New York on castings and stuff, and they were booking big clients that I wanted, and I always wondered why it wasn't happening for me. And I found that when I supported them and congratulated them, and kept that good energy in their favor instead of being jealous or having it be a reflection of my talent, because it's impossible to book every job. Again, you are just looking for clients that you're a match with, and sometimes just quite simply, you're just not the best match for them, and that's okay. Reminding yourself that everybody has room to win and collaboration expands your opportunities. So let's say somebody in your network booked a job for L'Oreal Paris and they're posting on their Instagram, and L'Oreal Paris goes in and looks at it and they send a comment right above your comment that said, "Woo, I'm so happy for you." And they click on your name and they see you, that could expand your opportunities. So you want to jump in on those conversations and stop looking at other models as competition and look for the opportunity to collaborate with them on this feel good energy where you're congratulating them for winning. And then I believe that comes around like a boomerang and comes back in your favor. Number nine, I have to be what they want. Sort of similar to like, I have to look perfect, right? But when you shift out of that, and remind yourself that they're the lucky ones to get you. That has been like one of the most groundbreaking mindset shifts for me is realizing the value that I bring to the project. And that it wouldn't be the same if they had a different model who was brunette, 5'11", mid 30s, with a completely different life experience and different energy to bring to set. You have to believe in yourself so much that you go in with the mindset that they're lucky to have you. And that can be a tough one too. But when you practice and build your magnetism, stop shrinking and start showing up as your full, unforgettable, quirky, imperfect self who's ready to learn, ready to go, professional, charismatic. That is when they're going to realize how lucky they are and they're going to want to work with you again and again and again. Just saying. Okay, we're on our last one. Raise your hand if you've ever felt this way. I'm waiting on my big break. I'm waiting on my big break. Once I get my big break, things are going to be great for me. And I really encourage you guys to stop thinking like that because every job leads to something more, and that you are not waiting on an external thing to happen to you. You, in the everyday moments, just by being here on this workshop, you are creating your own momentum. So, when you book something as simple as background work, and you're like, oh, well, I guess I'll take it. It's not like my big break, but I'll take it. You never know if you treated that job like it was your big break, how grateful and what an amazing opportunity it is to be on set, maybe with a specific director, or to meet other like-minded individuals who are also trying to break into the industry. You've just now worked on set on a 10-hour day. And think about all the special people that you've met who are exactly in the same boat as you. That could very much be your big break. Um, so treat it like it is, because also once you film something and people see you in that, like I'm wondering like if this thing project that I'm filming goes worldwide. I'm trying to manifest this, but like what if like Revlon or Pantene Pro V or L'Oreal or something saw it and then they reached out to the production, found out their email and said, "Who is that model? We want her for our next campaign." You just never know. So, building relationships is far more important than landing a huge job. And when you focus on building these relationships and being in the moment and being charismatic and getting to know these people and building those connections, when L'Oreal calls them, they're going to say, "Yeah, she's great. She's professional. She did a great job. I recommend her 10 out of 10. Here's her agency name so you can book her, right? So that's far more important than landing a huge job is the reputation that you're building. So the most successful models aren't the one who never experienced doubt. They're the ones who learn how to not let doubt make their decisions. How to recognize doubt starts that thought with I'm too, I'm not, I don't have, I need to, I have to, I can't. We want to shift that into I am, I choose, I can, I get to. Lastly, this is a new concept that I added into this workshop. Find a picture of your younger self, okay? And they say that your younger self represents your inner child, which never leaves you. So some of these stories that or these limiting beliefs that we've adopted are from experiences that happened to us when we were in adolescence, and our mindset was starting to create itself and starting to build itself. For me, I was like really embarrassed in class because I was bad at math, right? And so when the teacher would call on me, I'd completely have a meltdown. My nervous system would shut down. I needed tutoring, and I kind of always felt behind, and I felt less intelligent and less capable. And that kind of stuck with me as I grew up because I can remember always wanting to audition for the talent show and always holding myself back because I was consistently comparing myself to other people. I just simply didn't have the confidence. So think of these stories and their origins and where they came from, and maybe if they're still with you. And look at your inner child, look at your picture of your younger self next time you feel doubt, and remind yourself that when we were a child, um, we, like before adolescence, we had endless potential, endless curiosity, creativity, playfulness, imagination, and then somewhere along the line, maybe an experience tried to stop that or quieted that version, where we learn to take on these identities and these beliefs that aren't truly ours. So try to remember that part of yourself before the world told you, what you're not. And remember that you have the opportunity to continue to play. This is a playful, creative industry. So look at it as play and put yourself out there unapologetically and give yourself the permission to shine, and you will 100% attract opportunities to you where it can lead to further success in a sustainable career. So I really hope this helped. We reached the end of the hour. I have a couple moments for questions if anybody has a burning question. But I'm going to be back on Monday. So my flight leaves early Monday. I'll be back in Florida, and then I'm going to log on that night, and we're going to do a workshop on preparedness. Basically, it's going to be called Booked and Ready for your first day on set, and it's going to go over how to prepare. And a big one of that workshop is developing your presence on set. Even though you're a beginner and maybe you haven't done this a few times and it's your first time, we still want to walk in like a professional, act, talk, perform like a professional. So that workshop is really about getting, again, your mindset ready, but then all the practical things that you need to be ready and be prepared as well. And that's going to help you because if you're in the beginning of your career and you're going for these opportunities and then you book a job and then they call you and they say, "Oh, congrats, you booked a job." And you say, "Okay, okay." And then you start getting nervous. You say, "I have no idea what to expect." That's kind of why I created that workshop because I felt like that in the beginning and I went in completely unprepared. And I've made all the mistakes. I've looked unprofessional, not on purpose, but just because I wasn't given the information. So, been really great to spend this hour with you all. I hope this started your Saturday off on a really good note. And I hope to be able to connect with you guys on Monday night. It's going to be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So have a wonderful weekend and try to adopt these mindset shifts for yourself. You're welcome, Raquel. If you have any feedback that we didn't get to or questions, there is my information. You can find me on Instagram and follow my journey, or you can email me and I can answer any concerns you have, give you any motivation that you need. I'm here for you guys. I'm rooting for you guys. And I want to wish you the very best of luck in everything that you do. And I really, really hope I get to connect with you guys again in the future. As always, keep showing up and believe in yourself. And the rest is history, right? Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for your feedback. And I will connect with you guys in the future. Take care. Have a great day.